Back inside the State Champs Sports Network studio for another edition of State Champs Extra Point, where along with our friends at Bally Sports, Extra Point is presented by Lawrence Technological University. If you have the dream of playing college athletics, recruit yourself at ltuathletics.com. I'm Lorne Plant. Both my hair is here as well as my colleagues, Sydney Cariel
and my knee
Devin
is fine.
Gardner. Yes.
My knee is all good. I didn't hurt myself walking upstairs.
Sydney, it's week 8. And as we take a look back at week 7, great games and some surprises too.
Agreed, a ton of surprises. And also, I like to say that the weather has now hit football weather.
No
it
doubt.
was chilly last Friday.
You talked about football weather like 4 weeks ago. You were saying how cold it was.
Okay, but this was like
the Cali girl.
Gloves weather.
Yeah.
Debated a beanie, but that didn't happen.
Debated
it was close.
A beanie.
It was close. But yeah, no, like you said, a ton of good games. And we kind of talked about it earlier. We're really starting to see teams show who they really are and coming along, like with the surprises you talked about, which we'll get into in a little. But yeah, Devin, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm just excited that football is back. I will be back for high school football this week. I'm very excited to watch. And I, as you guys know, I love high school football. And it started so fast, and it's like, how did we get here, right? We're at the end of the season, and I feel terrible. But now I got a bye week, and I will be at high school games this weekend.
You're not suiting up?
I'm too fat. The thing is, man, I cannot fit anything that I wore at that time.
Some will say this is really the beginning of the football season. We're in week 8, couple more weeks.
People are turning into pumpkins,
and we got a 4-week playoff run, Ford Field. They're already lining the field out there.
Is that like what you said
it's the
earlier?
only thing we can look forward to at Ford Field here in the next several weeks. Sorry.
I like what you said earlier. Teams are figuring it out.
Yeah.
That's the figuring it out, and we really did start to see that. And that brings us right into our takeaways, sponsored by Figer Law, and one team that is figuring it out, and I think they have figured it out, Dakota.
Yeah, I talked about it last week that I thought that Dakota may be back, and they are still undefeated. They took care of business, right? And so nobody really thought that they would lose, but there's always a chance in high school football, any given Friday. But they took care of business. Greg Barr, their coach, is doing a great job. I think they're a very balanced team with running and passing. Ethan Hamby, 3 rushing touchdowns as the quarterback, but he was 10 of 14 as well. So efficient in the passing game, not too much, not too little, exactly what he needed. I think they're an impressive team, and they continue to prove that they are a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and they beat Eisenhower 31-14.
Yeah, dominated them.
Yep, they got that, clinched the MAC Red outright with that
Since 2015, first time.
Yeah. Hey, look at you getting into the history books this week. We're trading roles here.
Shows you how good that division is,
Yeah.
because every year it's somebody stepping up.
Yeah, definitely. And then somebody stepping up, Bedford, Lorne.
Yes.
I mean, my goodness, what
Shocker.
a game.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker. No doubt. Nobody could have called this. And a stat that I was unaware of is the fact that Saline had a 52-game win streak
that
in the Southeastern Conference against their Red Division opponents. 2013, the last time the Hornets dropped a game to a division opponent.
What were you doing in 2013, Lauren?
2000, I was right here.
Oh, yeah, of course you were.
I was right here.
Lauren has been here forever.
Calling it. Probably did the highlights of this game that Bedford beat Saline, most likely. But ironically, in fact, you can find those highlights.
I was
on
going to say, let's get into the archives.
Everything you want from Lauren, see if that hair has changed.
Bedford, who beat Saline back in 2013, not once but twice, as the Kicking Mules beat the Hornets in the district championship. So who knows how far, and again, we'll get back in the history books, who knows how far that Bedford team would have gone, because for those who are fans of the SEC and Temperance Bedford, they were undefeated that year. They lost to Detroit Catholic Central in the regionals 34-33. It was just a nail biter.
Yeah.
And who knows how far, but that's high school football. So the 22 version of the Kicking Mules pull off the upset of the year. C.J. Carr, the Notre Dame commit, Mr. Football candidate at quarterback. The Bedford defense with several sacks just made him uncomfortable all night, was not able to do anything. They got a touchdown on their first possession, and that was all that was needed. So we do want to credit the Saline defense, too, the fact that this was a 7-0 game. Bedford now has a strong chance to win both of their final regular season games and take a 7-2 record into the Division II playoffs, so good on them. Saline can make it right this week as they take on 7-0 Dexter and the other Mr. Football candidate, Cole Cabana. A win most likely in that one, it will, if they could win, would guarantee a share of the SEC Red title if Saline can knock off Dexter.
I have a proposal.
Yes.
The Kicking Mules, right?
Yes.
I had no idea that Bedford's nickname was the Kicking Mules.
Yes.
We should do a special, what's the name of this team? This team's mascot episode all around the state. Just, start with some easy one,
Yeah.
cast technicians.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Then move on, Bedford.
Right.
I would have never guessed it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I've
Mount
got a
Clemens.
good-
What's their name?
Mount Clemens Mountains. Mountain ranges.
The Battling Bathers.
Battle?
Why does he know that?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
does he know that?
Well, because I've been doing this a long time.
Very
Very sad, actually.
No,
It's
no,
very
it's
sad.
not sad. But I got a good nickname in another game we're going to talk about, actually, the Flying G's. How about that?
Would've
Which
never
I did
guessed that
not
one.
know that was their nickname because we just don't cover Gladwin very often.
I didn't know that either until I had to actually double.
What a great game, too. So we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I had to do a little double take on the Flying G's. So that is a good name. But Gladwin, they spoiled Notre Dame's homecoming with a close one, a 33-27 win, and the Flying G's actually stay unbeaten at 7-0. So they're having a pretty good season, connecting on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, special teams, as we know, super important. And this was Notre Dame's Prep's first loss since week 1. So
It was a great game.
Yeah.
Watch the highlights, and again, back and forth, both teams, somebody, takes a hit, and then the other team comes back. It was up and down field. It was really something where two teams that have never played before, because they had never played before, you love when these kind of things can come together, and you can have a matchup of something that's very unusual, and you can have a team like Gladwin have such a statement win. This is something that they're going to talk about for a long time. And if you're
I'm sure they're glad about that win.
And if you're Notre Dame Prep, they're probably a team like, okay, hey, we got to right this ship.
Right.
We got to get things straight. We can't take anybody for granted.
yeah, and both have challenging teams this week. Gladwin will take on Beaverton, and then NDP will play Divine Child. So 2 big games there, and also something that's really cool we want to talk about real quick, the KLAA. Try to say that really fast without messing it up.
KLAA.
KLAA. It's
Come
tongue twister.
on!
But next season, if that didn't wake you up, are you guys listening now? I hope that gets you going.
The claw!
The claw, we should call it that. But next season, the teams in the KLAA, see, there we go. Dang
the
it,
claw.
you messed me up.
In the claw.
Next season, teams in the KLAA
There
will
we
be
go.
able to play whoever they want. So could we see a Belleville versus King showdown? There's a lot of possibilities now for some good games.
Yeah, no excuses now.
In a league that basically determines playoffs off playoff points, this gives you an opportunity to get to bolster your strength of schedule.
Oh, without question.
So the Kensington Lakes Athletic Association
The claw!
is making a great move here, and I love it. And there's some great teams. We can now see the teams like Canton and Plymouth, and obviously Brighton, and those types of teams that can get out there and schedule who they want, and we can see some great games. And again, we see this everywhere else. The first couple of weeks of the season are some of the best times as a high school football fan because you get matchups that you normally wouldn't. A De La Salle and a Muskegon or whatever, some games like that that you can really see how good a team is, and they get to really measure themselves right off the bat.
We'll get right into our top 20 rankings, sponsored by Alta Equipment Company. And the top 5, you guys, is staying the same once again. So we've got Belleville at 1, King at 2, De La Salle 3, Adams at 4, and West Bloomfield at number 5. But after that, we did see some shakeups in the rankings. So Lorne, your locked-in team, who do you got this week?
So River Rouge is a team that I feel has, they're up a spot from number 9 to number 8 this week in the rankings. It's been kind of a topsy-turvy season for the Panthers. So this is the first season that the Panthers have been without their longtime head coach, Corey Parker, who has moved on to the University of Toledo. And he won a D3 state championship with them in 2019, state runner-up in 2020. Panthers are a team that has been without a league for the last 4 years, so they always have to go out and schedule independently.
Sounds like Inkster High School.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Because, let's face it, the division they were in, it just wasn't getting them anywhere. So this was a great move, but it's just a team that kind of falls into the cracks until we get into the meat of the playoffs, and you're like, oh, yeah, River Rouge is probably going to make a run. But I believe they're a team right now that are putting themselves The pieces are in place for another strong playoff run. They just blanked Orchard Lake St. Mary's 28-0 a few weeks back. Lost a tough one to perennial power Cleveland St. Ignatius, who, if you follow that program, you know is always one of the best in the state of Ohio. That was a close game, 21-14. They also came back tied and won that game. Last 2 weeks, not that they've had super strong competition versus Hamtramck and Allen Park, but they've outscored them in total 98-0.
Oh my goodness.
98-0. So they're getting it done on both sides of the ball, period, regardless of who is lined up on the other side of the
98 is such a good number.
But yeah, there you go. But now they've got Warren De La Salle this week. So there's a statement that says the rubber meets the road, and this is one of those statement games. If River Rouge can pull off a win, which I believe that they have the power to do, De La Salle is going to give them all they can handle. De La Salle wants to win this game as well. Next week for River Rouge, it's their kind of tradition now to take on Southfield A&T in Week 9. So that's, the kind of game where you look and you go, hey, there's 15 Division I guys on the field right now between two teams. So they're going to have a lot of they're going to have a great opportunity to really see who they are before they get into this year's Division III playoffs. So I think they're locked in, but we shall see.
Yeah, we will see. And then a team that we want to keep watching on, Romeo, who they were in the top 20, they jumped out of the top 20, but right now they're in our honorable mention with a couple of other teams. But with Romeo, what do you see in this team?
Well, interesting, last week on the OT, Rob Rubrick was there, and he hadn't had a chance to really take a look at Romeo like he wanted to, and them getting a chance, he and Johnny Kane calling the game and really getting a chance to see them and really kind of learning about who they are over the course of the week. He's super impressed with them, and I agree with him. Yeah. This is a team that you just can't underestimate what an impressive win that was to do against Chippewa Valley. And again, they had the full spotlight of Valley Sports, in their backyard at Barnabo Field, and they came to play. And they're strong in so many different facets of the game. And again, this is typically from playing a MAC Red schedule. We say this about the Catholic League Central Division a lot, and the fact that your competition is so good week to week that you're either going to wither or you're going to get stronger. And they're getting stronger. So now they face a Grosse Pointe South team that has won 5 in a row. I think Romeo is playing its best football right now just at the right time.
Yeah, they're a team who's figuring it out, and like you said, at a right time. So, Devin, on your side, who do you got for a locked-in team this week?
I think it's very clear that Rockford, they may be the Rockford that we thought. Man, we were wondering in the beginning of the season, right? Mac Vandenhout, can he be that powerful driving force at the quarterback position, which they've had for many years, and he has. He might be better. You just don't know. He has been exceptional.
Yeah, he's not the runner that Zach Hearn was.
Right. More of a passer in that, right? But makes plays when plays are available when the team needs it most. Next week, they got a real test. Yes. Right? A real test. Beautiful. Caledonia. I love it. And I'm just telling you, this is going to be a great quarterback matchup. Yeah. Mason McKenzie has been explosive all year, and this is going to be a test for Caledonia as well. I think that this Rockford-Caledonia matchup is one that people should really pay attention to. I don't think a lot of people are talking about it nearly enough. I think it's going to be a very good quarterback matchup between two really good teams that, Rockford always has success. Caledonia kind of coming into new success, and I think it's going to be a clash of titans.
Another team that we've talked about continuously every single week, and they've also had an up and down season. Someone who to watch, Cass Tech.
Is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Who are they really? All right, they score a lot of points. They just don't score enough points. They don't score in the first half. They score in the second half. Who are they going to be? Somehow, some way, they still have a breath of life and an opportunity, right? They can essentially control their own destiny a bit here, where they're 31 out of 32 to try to get in. If the playoffs start today, they would get in, but now they have to play Martin Luther King again, right? PSL championship. They have to win this game, and then they'll play a Catholic League crossover game. We don't know who it's going to be exactly. Maybe Brother Rice, whoever the case may be, but they have to win. And, we always talk about must-wins and must-wins, must-wins in the season, and it's early. Remember we talked about, this is a must-win for Cass. This is a must-win for Cass. Seriously, there's no chance of them making the playoffs if they lose one of these two games. So it's going to be tough for them.
And don't you think, for Cass, this is when they look themselves in the mirror and they say, look, This is it. If everything's on the line, we want it to be against King.
Yeah.
We want it to be
that
the
is
BSL
perfect.
champ. This is where you create your legend, within the community, in the lore. I mean, the Cass King rivalry is as strong and as fierce as anybody's. So this is where you want to say, this is where we made our stand. We win this game.
You remember when we were 3-3? We needed to win it in the PSL championship against King.
5-star Dante Moore.
We took them down. You remember when the Mud Dogs and Waterboy came back? We won the championship, won the Bourbon Bowl.
Right.
It's gonna be talked about.
So you do that. And this gives you all the momentum you need going into the. And you know that you don't have to face them again because they're in Division III and you're in Division I. Division I is strong and stacked, but I would say if I'm that team, okay, you know what? If we lose, we don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and we can't forget.
We have enough talent, pound for pound.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They have a very good roster. They have a good football team
and
with a lot of talented players.
In that game.
They did come right. They were on the brink of winning that game, right? The defense stood up tall in the second half, and so when this game starts in the beginning, you would think like, okay, maybe it'll be a little closer at the beginning. They know each other a little more this year because they're two totally different teams.
Yeah, and this game at Wayne State.
Yeah, so we were going to get all into this at the end of the show, but let's get right back into it right now, though. Seriously, though, this is a huge game, as you guys were saying. And just a refresher for everyone listening and watching, back in September, King won 28-23. Yeah. So
the fact that you're saying back in September,
I know.
Jesus.
I know.
I guess only a couple weeks ago.
I know, but it feels like forever ago,
It does
right?
feel like forever ago. And football time, it is
King
forever
really
ago.
dominated 3/4 of that game.
Yeah, that
so
was
it was shocking to me because honestly, when we came on this show, I said I can't call it.
Yeah.
It was Cass' turn to win because we won every other year they win.
Yeah, and going off of what Lorne said, Cass was down 28-10 to start the fourth quarter, climbed their way back in, obviously didn't get it done, but that just shows, and that, like we said, that was back in September, so they're a different team now than they were.
Yeah. So one thing I will point out, remember we said the conventional wisdom said it was Cass's turn, right? But the conventional wisdom says the King will win this one because they don't usually split.
Right.
So does that mean it's going to be opposite again? Is it going to be where Cass is going to get the split this time? I mean, it's going to be a fun game to watch, to say the least.
It's rare, and again, I wish I had this in front of me. I don't.
Oh, history lesson.
I know. But the times that they do play twice a year, how often is it where a team can beat them twice in a single season? That is hard to do, and you could say that against anybody. Beating somebody twice in a single season is a tough thing to do because they have everything in front of them, all the tape. All the adjustments can be made. I mean, you can watch it but Cass has struggled this season. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why they're on the precipice of not making the playoffs. Yeah. So this is everything for them.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game, that is for sure. And remember, you can check out all of our top 20 rankings on our website, statechampsnetwork.com, and catch it all right there.
Hey guys, time to talk Mr. Football, the state champs Mr. Football Award presented by our friends at Hungry Howie's. And no changes in the race this week. Sean Belizean in studio. Things good?
Yeah, things are great, and we are talking about one of the most exciting players out there right now. I mean, this is a guy that was already on everybody's radar, but the last couple weeks, Lauren, we'll get into it. Boom, he is exploding.
No doubt about it. We have a few games this week that are featuring a pair of Mr. Football candidates going head-to-head, including the Valley Sports Football Fridays game of the week, which is number 5 West Bloomfield at number 14 Southfield A&T. This week here on the Hungry Howie's Mr. Football Update, Sean Belizean here to talk up West Bloomfield's utility man, Samaj Morgan. Now, whether you line him up on the outside, you put him in the Wildcat, you put the ball in his hands on special teams quite often, Morgan is the man.
He's been unbelievable. And as I mentioned, Lauren, the last couple of weeks, this is a guy that has just exploded and gone next level. Now, he already made a name for himself, as you well know, as a wide receiver, and he made a commit to go to Michigan. But as I mentioned, that next level has been had. Due to an injury, this is a young man that had to come in and play quarterback. Ho-hum, so what does he do? He throws a couple touchdowns. Wait, there's more. I feel like I'm selling a knife on a TV commercial. Right. He has a 100-yard pick six as well. So this guy already, as you mentioned, you knew he was a utility guy. You knew what he could do on the defensive side of the ball. You knew what he could do as a wide receiver, but Now it's next level. He is rolling, the Lakers are rolling, and as you mentioned, Lorne, should be a fantastic game on Friday night when you've got West Bloomfield and Southfield A&T getting together. But keep an eye on Morgan. He is really something special.
We'll see how things shake out, but right now what you can do is vote. Vote often at statechampsnetwork.com. Hey, one of the best partners we have here on the State Champs Sports Network is that of the Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine teams. Every once in a while we get a chance to have an in-depth conversation with one of the doctors, and this week was no different. We're going to give you a preview. So I had a chance to catch up with Dr. Schubert. We talked about football injuries. Here's a sneak peek. And let's get into it. Knee injuries are one of the most common football injuries we see. In general, how serious are ACL injuries and how are they treated?
So great question, Lauren. So ACL injuries are serious injuries. They lead to the knee being unstable with certain movements. So they lead to the knee being more unstable with various cutting, pivoting, twisting, jumping movements. Allows the knee to move more forward, or the tibia, which is the shin bone, moves more forward than it should, and also leads to some rotational instability of the knee. That also is often accompanied with meniscus injuries, which are the shock absorbers of the knee, also cartilage injuries, and these can also be associated with other ligament injuries as well. And they occur most commonly with non-contact twisting injuries. So oftentimes it's not even with somebody getting hit, but it's as they're running down the field and they make a cutting or pivoting motion, and then that's when they happen. Oftentimes players feel a pop and have immediate swelling in the knee, and so those are some things to keep an eye out for when we're concerned about an ACL injury.
If you want to check out the entire conversation, you can watch it on the State Champs YouTube, or you can listen to it on the Spreaker app. Just search State Champs Sports. All right, this is the time in the program where we talk about the Anvil Award competition presented by our great friends at Hungry Howie's. And there was a lot of debate in the Anvil committee this week, you know, as far as should some guys come out, but no changes. But Tim Beckler is back to give his thought about this week's featured candidate. Now, the PSL Championship takes place this Friday night, where Cass Tech will see if it can take down their rivals from Detroit King. The Michigan State commit Jalen Thompson will do everything in his power, I believe, to wreak havoc from the inside.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this young man. He's 6'3", 250 pounds, committed to Michigan State, but had offers from Ohio State and Notre Dame, so he's a real deal. Right now he's got 6 sacks, but 20 hurries, and just watching most of the film I watched was from his junior year last year, but wow, he's very well coached, first of all, and what I mean by that is he can play run and pass. Not everybody can do that when you're a defensive lineman. Plays the run first. He's great at jamming and closing tackles, trying to get to the second level and constricting plays and run lanes. And he takes on blocks great with his hands. He's a dominant run player as well. And then pass rush, wow. He's got a tremendous speed rush to the outside. And he's smart enough, and he's got great vision. If that tackle oversets or gets too deep, he's great at putting his outside foot in the ground and coming underneath to the inside of that tackle and gets to the quarterback, or at least gets a lot of hits on the quarterback. He's a great player.
We've got a good competition going in the voting for the Anvil Award. Dearborn Divine Child still in Senda still leads with nearly 5,500 votes, but the Cass community, we've been talking about Jalen Thompson, they've been propping up Jalen, and he now has over 3,000 votes with West Bloomfield, Brandon Davis Swain in third with just over 2,800. So keep the voting coming. Remember, the winner is going to be automatically in the Final Four at the end of the competition, which will be around the regionals time. We'll be freezing our top 10 once we get into the playoffs. So there should be some changes next week. We'll talk about it. He's not going to be here next week, but he'll be back here after that, as we get right into the real heart of this competition. So good luck to all the players out there. We'll see you next week.
We have a week full of a ton more games, as always. So
Big week.
Yeah, and a huge week. Gosh, can't believe we're already at this point in the season. But we're gonna preview a couple of games that we'll be covering, and this is brought to you by Menard. So we get started on Thursdays, as always. Friday, a full slate of games. So here we go. Devin, we've got number 3 Warren De La Salle at number 8 River Rouge.
Yeah, we've talked about a few top 20, top 15. This is a top 10 matchup that I think is going to be very important because De La Salle, they want to show, hey, we are still that dominant team, even with the one blemish that we have. And River Rouge, they want to get a chance to play good competition, right? They want to get a chance to avenge the loss from a year ago against De La Salle. I mean, that game was played at Wayne State. It was a great game. And I think this is a very good matchup for both these quarterbacks. And River Rouge, they still got some things to figure out about themselves. I think De La Salle knows exactly who they are, who they want to be. They have their quarterback. And River Rouge is still working out the kinks on some things. Quarterback just came back from injury. And I think Christian Johnson could have a big day.
Yeah. And then 2 teams who, it seems every week, they've definitely figured out who they are. Number 13, Clarkston, at number 19, Lapeer. Lorne, that's going to be a good one.
Love this matchup. 2 teams in the top 20. Clarkston is fresh off a shootout win. Surprisingly over Lake Orion, it was 45-41. Lake Orion had the upper hand for a while in that one. I did not expect that to be close. But the Wolves have kind of been like that this season. We've seen them play unbelievable, and then we've kind of seen let teams hang around. But always an intense rivalry that doesn't disappoint when you're talking about Lake Orion. So I'm not surprised that game was close. But they have a big old brouhaha with unbeaten Lapeer. Lightning are 0-5 in their career matchups with Clarkston. They never beat Clarkston. Wow. Last time they met was when the Wolves beat Lapeer 13-0 in the 2018 regionals. These two could very likely be in the same district this year if things play out the way that they currently have it prognosticated. So this could be a playoff preview. The Lightning had a solid 42-28 win over Grand Ledge a week ago. The next 2 weeks tough because they have Clarkston and then Davison to end the season.
The Davison-Lapeer game is always a good one.
So if they come out on top in both of those, man, look out for Lapeer in the playoffs. Really coming in with momentum.
Yeah.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Football Fridays Game of the Week reveal.
Yeah.
Sydney?
Lorne?
West Bloomfield. Southfield A&T. We talked about it earlier already, but this really could be one of those, again, shootouts. I mean, for a while, this is strange. You know, for a while, I thought Southfield was going to lose to Oak Park last week. They were down. They ended up pulling away and winning 35-12, but it was crazy. And I was like, wow, that's really kind of a bummer going into next week. But they won. West Bloomfield, albeit just that loss to Rochester Adams, have been exceptional this season. I think they've been everything we've wanted them to be and expected them to be. The Lakers have won this matchup the last 3 years, and last year put up 56 on the Warriors, which was their highest scoring output of the season last year. Southfield put up 56 against Cass to open the season. You remember that craziness? And they scored 56 against Clarkston only to lose.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a common theme.
So 35 points is the fewest that Southfield's put up all season. So they definitely have a score. So will this be a shootout, or is West Bloomfield's defense prepared to stop Mr. Football candidate Isaiah Marshall, who's been pretty much unconscious?
Yeah, I mean, for so long, Southfield has always had so many talented players, just can't figure it out, right? Get close, lose, right? Found a way to lose all the time. This year is different. I talked to the staff and the players earlier this week, and it's significantly different. And we're all just sitting waiting for them to turn back into a pumpkin. Oh, no, they'll go back to, right, Oak Park. Oh, no, then we're going to go. It's almost there every single time. But
Oak
they
Park
continue
was winless.
Exactly. They continue to find a way to win. And it's because, like you said, Zeke Marshall, he has been outstanding all season. This could be the year that they finally get West Bloomfield. It'll be the first win for Isaiah Marshall against West Bloomfield in his career, right? He's a third-year guy. They've lost 3 in a row, so he's been the quarterback. This might be the year, and he's got the weapons to do it. Jawan Jarrett, Tashi Braceful. I mean, those receivers are amazing. Yeah. And Tashi Braceful, you look at him, he's the long, tall guy that gets to the combat catches and things like that. But then you get Jawan, who didn't even play offense a year ago. He didn't play offense a year ago, and now he's one of the best receivers, over 1,000 yards in the state of Michigan. I think that this may be the year. I'm not going to bet my house. I'm not going to bet my house. Right. But this could be the year that Southfield probably finally gets over that West Bloomfield hump.
And I think they've been in sync all year. We were at the 7-on-7 against King.
Yeah, we were.
You know,
they were really good.
And you know what I mean? It was like, wow, like they are really efficient. Yeah. You know, and I know that King was, you know, working some things out, but it was like, wow, this Southfield offense looks like it's going to be something. And then week 1,
it's something.
56.
And it continues to be something.
Right. It's just, can they just stop West Bloomfield enough? So I don't know what kind of game we're going to get.
And remember, West Bloomfield could be without their quarterback, right? And even though Samaj Morgan, like this kid can do everything. Sure. I saw a couple plays where he's dropping back and throwing on time, bang gates, different throws. I'm like, wait, is he a quarterback too? Like what? Wildcat? Like he's been exceptional, but without a pure quarterback, I think it'll be tough to keep up with that Southfield offense. We'll see if Riquez Nance can participate in the game.
And you'll see in person because you're going to be there, right?
I will be there.
Yeah?
I will be at that game. I don't have a game this week, even though, you know, last week I had 2 games, so I'm well overdue for a bye week. You know, my Saturday game was the highest rated Big 12 game since 2017, you know what I mean? Or 2017, 13, whatever. Yeah, but I'll be there.
And
I will be there.
And then Michigan Penn State on Saturday.
And then I'll be at Michigan Penn State, of course. So you'll see me at both of those.
That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be really good. Yeah. Fun weekend ahead of us. That is for sure.
All right, guys, so another one in the books. We're getting ready for week 8. We thank you so much for checking out this particular program. We want to remind you, after the Football Fridays game of the week, of course, featuring West Bloomfield and Southfield A&T, make sure you stick around and check out the OT, which is going to be airing on Valley Sports Extra, and I think it is me and John Keating this week.
I might join you guys. I might leave the game early. I don't know.
Awesome.
Oh, don't hold me to it.
That would be awesome. I believe,
we'll see.
I believe we're also going to have Alan True make an appearance.
You don't need me then. Never mind. I'm not coming.
We're gonna talk
you need it. Alan True's the man.
Yeah, that might be a pre-tape segment, but and put in at some point. But yeah, I mean,
the more the merrier. Come on.
So anyway, check it out. It's an hour full of highlights, and we get into everything that's taking place. And again, you want to know right after these games, right? Maybe you're at a game, go home, or you're on your phone. Check it out. We've got the streaming live on the State Champs YouTube page. Check it out, and we'll talk all about it. So.
Yeah, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. The best part is the pregame speeches and the postgame reaction right then and there. It's awesome.
And now, so no, it's kidding. It's the end of the show. It's the end. It's the end.
That's it, guys. Hey, thank you so much for checking out Extra Point. We'll see you next week.
State Champs Extra Point is powered by Lawrence Technological University. Visit L2athletics.com and recruit yourself. Extra Point is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. The Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Pros. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. Alti Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Hungry Howie's Pizza, famous for flavor. Feiger Law, nobody knows the law like we do. Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers, think Ford first.